Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to do a reading around the full moon, and this is a super full moon in Capricorn. So if you have any placements, you might be setting up something to, especially with the full moon being about releasing. There might be something in here, but we're going to do a reading around it just to see if there's any tips or even just what's coming up for you during or after the full moon. So at the moment, while I'm recording this, the full moon is in, for me, in about 8 hours-ish. So I'll try to get this video out as soon as I can. I have to edit it afterwards. But we'll see how that goes. So we'll just see what piles we have today. We have pile 1. We've got pile 2. Pile 3 and pile 4. Okay, let's take a look at your cards today. Alright, so for pile 1, you have the Trataka meditation or candle meditation with the message of be still. And so you can look this up, but it is about looking into the flame and keeping your eye on the flame, and I think not closing your eyes, that kind of thing. There's probably some more depth into the meditation you can look into, but that is what this one is. It also has a message here of there is only this present moment. Okay, so for pile number 2, you have apple cider vinegar with live simply, and the message here is heal thyself. Okay. Pile number 3, you have Shinrin-yoku with connect with nature. The practice of Shinrin-yoku involves looking for nothing. If you are lucky, you might find it. And the message down here is sky above, earth below, soul within. Okay, and for pile number 4, you have the bush iris with accept the cycle of life. And the message here is the spirit lives on. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to it. Down in the description will be the timestamp so you can jump straight to your video. I'll give this a moment so you can tap into your intuition, see which pile or piles are calling to you, and then I'll get straight into the shuffling process. Hello everyone, welcome to the shuffling process. Thank you again for being here and giving your energy or helping with the energy of this reading today. I really do appreciate it. So this is about the full moon, super full moon in Capricorn. Full moon's about release, and Capricorn is usually around structure, and it finds it hard sometimes to let go. So this might be an opportunity to let go of something that you've been holding on to for a while. It might be a really good time for that, especially being like, you know, a super full moon, which from what I understand is when the moon and the earth are more closer, so the tides are like super tides because the moon has more of an impact on the tides, that type of thing, like super low tides, super high tides, and also, you know, the moon's closer, so it'll be quite bright wherever you are if you do get to see it during the nighttime. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm getting quite masculine vibes for this kind of reading. I don't know what that means exactly, but we'll see. The interesting thing, all the cards coming out is like living in the moment, living simply, connecting with nature, and this one, I can't remember what this one was, I forgot. The spirit lives on, so it's like, what did it say? Accept the cycles of life. It's just like let things that are just be. What will be kind of thing. So these are very back to basics kind of cards coming through. So I think they're all going to have a very grounded, centered, structured kind of reading, which is real interesting. because I do have a couple of planets. I think it's Neptune and Mars in Capricorn, which is interesting because Mars is very fiery, and Capricorn is very structured. So it's more of like a, I guess, diluted in a sense. But I'm fine with that. And it's in my 12th house, which is all about surrender and releasing. So I think it's in my 12th house, something like that. It's about endings anyway, and this is a great time for me personally, but I think for anyone who is interested in this. Well, if you're watching this, you're probably interested in this particular full moon in Capricorn. So we've got the Aboriginal Ancestral Wisdom, the Gods and Titans. This deck here is the Keepers of the Light. And I'm going in with this with kind of an open mind to what this reading will be about. Because yes, it's about the full moon, but is it something coming into your life at a later stage? Is it something you can do during the full moon? Is it something that's happening to you now? Is it something to release? Is it something to even bring in? We'll see. It's whatever this is up to the full moon in Capricorn, what this is about. Okay. These here are the Archangel Fire Oracle. So it's going to be a lot of figures in this one, a lot of deities, Ascended Master, angels, like a lot of figures, more so than anything else. With, of course, tarot being the kind of more traditional cards. Okay, so full moon in Capricorn. I feel like mentioning now too, not that you have to do literally anything particular. I think that one goes there. But I am getting to mention my Twitch. And I do free readings on Twitch. Feel free to pop in, say hello, even if it's just to watch how I do readings in a more like kind of quicker format, let's say, because this is quite lengthy. But that's because it's for a collective, not for an individual. It's for a set group. So you got to take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But I think there's for some reason there might be someone watching that doesn't know I'm on Twitch, so they're all free. You don't have to do anything, just join the queue and then wait for your turn and then ask a question. That's pretty much it. Okay, these are all over the place. I'm going to take these two together then. Okay, you can come through. Okay. I'll also do a very quick version of medium reads on there too. I don't usually advertise it too much, but it's always in my description if you want to check it out, but I don't usually advertise it too much. I don't know why. I don't know, just, don't. I think because a lot of people will find, I always think in my mind that people will find what they're supposed to find in time, but I guess if you hide things and don't say things to people, then you're kind of hiding it anyway, so you may as well just talk about it, and then if it resonates, people will click on it, right? Alright, so full moon in Capricorn, you are for file 3. You want to go 3 as well? 2, 1. I always shuffle these before I start recording. So these have had a good shuffle with the intentions of the full moon in Capricorn. So don't worry if it looks like I move a little bit quick with finding the cards, because they've had a very, very, very good shuffle. All right, but that leaves me here. So again, feel free to go to the description, jump straight to your video, whichever one calls to you. They'll be labeled as well with the particular meanings of the cards, so you can click on the right piles. But regardless, we've got pile 1 through to 4 here. But thank you for being here. Thank you again for sharing your energy, and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading today. So let's have a look at what is in the cards for the full moon in Capricorn. So this could be after the full moon if you're watching this afterwards. It could even be for any full moon coming up. If you are seeing this in the future, this reading will last as long as it needs to. The intention is to keep it there for all time. All right, so you've chosen the Trataka candle meditation, Be Still. I like that her third eye is open too. So this might be about conceptualizing or envisioning your future, let's say, with clearing out the old and bringing in the new. And it also says there is only this present moment, which is 100% true, because as humans we look at the past a lot, and the past is good for learning, right? But we don't want to relive it and cycle it through it and believe that since it happened in the past, that's our future as well, with any new ventures or any risk taking, let's say, that we're coming up to, or have an opportunity to do something different or do something new. And same with the future, worrying about the future, giving us stress and anxiety and worry. When really, what's happening right now? That's why this is Be Still. What is happening in your present moment? What's the truth about now? Not about what has been, what's to come, now. Okay, interesting. They're harping on about that, or I am. Okay, so let's take a look at your oracle cards. So you have Aquarius with innovative, rational, and humanitarian. This feels like looking into your soul almost. And you also have Mars with competition, action, and power. I said while I was shuffling them, I was like, this feels like very masculine, because the card that I picked were kind of, not that they have really any gender, right? But they come across like with a masculine energy a bit more than my usual reads, which have usually generally a bit of more feminine energy. Sometimes it's like, mixed or neutral, if you want to say it that way. But it does feel like this one has a bit more masculine. And we've got Mars coming through with the power, and Aquarius is like that individual who is on a mission, pretty much. So you have Archangel. This one's very cool. This is the Australian one, I guess you could say. It's like an Aboriginal looking character. And I believe Ularu's in the background. Okay. You also have Lady Nada with Heart Awakening. Awaking to acceptance, the divine love, and divine love. Give and receive in balance. This is... I'm kind of thinking of two minds. This is either you are someone who is used to like go-getting, and this is like bringing that into balance in a more, I guess, confident way, or in a more calm way, because sometimes we can be go-getters, right? And that's always good. Go get what you want to bring in. But then if you're going and going and going and going and don't actually remember why you were going, this is the time to be still and understand that. Get into a balanced state so you can be like, oh, is this still important? Or am I doing this because I clicked onto this a while ago and now I haven't stopped to think, is this still my path? Or is this still what I want? Because with here in the competition, it's like, it feels kind of fierce. And then the opposite of that, or another way to take it, is starting to pick up your energy. And the Be Still is like, is it still time to sit here and, manifest, or have some of the options started coming up and now it's time to switch gears. But it does feel like truth. For some reason I want to keep saying truth, or not really heart like emotional heart, not that, but more the core of who you are, your identification, your soul. Okay. You also have Jizo with support. Interesting. I think I'm going to have a quick read of this one. I'll do it after this card. And you also have Amazed on the light attribute and Shocked on the shadow. Shocked and Amazed. Both have really high energy, like good energy. I think here, like for some reason it kind of looked like a bug, but now that I look at it closer, it's very like cocooned. So I think there's some kind of like breaking out. And it doesn't have to be like you break out and go wild. It's more like you start to come out of your shell, let's say, or hibernation, or meditation, because you've got the answers, I feel, with her third eye opening. You've conceptualized. It's now time to make it your reality. Just going to grab the book. I just want to quickly read it, Nachiel. Not familiar with this angel. So this says Way Shower, and the message here is, there is no one like you in the world. You have a unique purpose. Believe in yourself and have confidence. Life is one big adventure. That's really such a strong symbol with right next to here. It's like you are an individual and you can like give and take in kind, right? You can, sometimes being the humanitarian is by joining and helping a group or someone else, or, you know, not really someone else, but like be part of the team to help the I guess team flourish, be that support, while also you can be a supportive leader, right? You can be in support, you can be in leadership and be a support. It's not like this is this, this is this, this is this. We don't have to label ourselves as anything, especially the Aquarian, because the Aquarian doesn't label themselves as anything. They will take what they want and go forward with that and introduce kind of new ideas and concepts to, you know, small groups, friends, family, or even like, you know, areas, states, world leaders, I was going to say. So there's all that, but this is a good time for that kind of energy to come through, I feel, with this new moon. And maybe it's time to release some of the old ideas, because when I was talking about, you know, that person, that go-getter who's kind of switching it up, it's like maybe it's time to release that, because you've done what you needed to and you got what you needed to out of that trajectory. So now it's time to switch that up, time to switch it on, off, whatever. Time to change it up into what's actually calling to you. It's not to anything that you think is right. It's more like what you feel is right, or what actually your gut feeling is. Okay. So let's take a look at these cards. I think I'm going to pull these ones on top because down here might be a bit shiny. So you have the Queen of Cups, really again aligning with Lady Nada really strongly. Lady Nada, while it's very pink and looks very soft and higher heart, she's also a soldier and like a warrior. If you look her up, she's, you know, she has command as well, and has a lot of strength and power, while also being able to do, like, make decisions from heart, not from ego. But you've got the Queen of Cups, that give and take. This might be a time to make sure you're getting your self-care too. You're looking after yourself. And if you have been like helping others, or even just working so hard and burning out, it's still time to self-care and to look at that. Support not just your others, but yourself, right next to each other. Okay, you've got the Knight of Wands. I do like this because this is kind of fun energy, but like it says, it's breaking out and get going. So it's like still supportive, but it's like on the move, let's say, or with that energy, if it's like after, because you take this how you want to kind of live it. If it's after some self-care or some time in stillness, let's say, then go for it. Then start moving forward to your goals. Once you feel refreshed, revitalized, I want to say that. But I do like this. I keep coming back to this: awaken to acceptance and divine love. So loving self and others. It almost wants me to talk about like even things that are going to be really hard, like forgiving a past loved one that is like an ex, or like family or something like that. And it's not like you have to tell them, it's forgiveness to move on. This comes up a lot, but we're talking about a full moon. I know I say this a lot, but we're talking about a full moon. It's about a release. It's time to move on from some things where they were kind of not really, I don't want to say competition, but like fighting internally, like pushing internally, and it's like, is that situation still true now? Like, are you still in that relationship? Are you still with that person, or that in that school, or in, you know, whatever? Utilize those memories to empower you, because you're still here, so you've lived through some challenges, or those challenges, right? So utilize that to motivate yourself to move forward, or motivate yourself to heal. Okay, so you've also got the Page of Cups. I like that the Page and the Queen are together. It's kind of like, again, not being an ego with this. It's about having the, what do you call it, emotional intelligence to know that you're open to new ways of living and learning and growing. Could be about love, because I keep talking about relationships, don't I? Maybe not feeling supported. But let the past be your guide. That's what I want to say, your guide. Okay. And you've also got the Hanged Man. Yeah, I think, importantly, while there's still the Knight of Wands here at the end, I think importantly is understanding where you're at, because I don't think this Hangman period is like super long waited. Maybe you already have waited and this is the like wake up. So there's like a bit of a message of ensuring that you're safe, ensuring that you've got what you needed. And I mean by safe is like your energy pools are full and healthy. So I'm going to sum up this, but I think there's like a bit of a message of releasing some very interesting old stuff, right? Because there could be things that are blocking your true north, or still reliving some of the past things. And maybe these people are still around, right? But you've moved out, maybe moved states, only see them once or twice a year or something like that. But the connection still weighs on you. Now, easier said than done, releasing it. But is it in your environment now? This is the time to ask yourself that, because you definitely have a lot of wit and power, I want to say, but these two especially, and also heart. And you don't want to waste it on something that's not in your reality right now, something that's old and done with. I think you'll be surprised at how much you've learned, and I think more how much you've grown from not getting stuck in some egoic cycles. And this is a good time to break some of those cycles, I feel. But of course, it's up to you. So I think that's all I see in the cards for this particular reading. So thank you very much for being here today. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and hopefully this has helped. It does look like coming up, if we're looking at like future, this is like a process that will occur. It does not look like it's going to be like a big overcoming thing. I think depending on how you view it, you might look at it like, wow, that took so long to get over. But I think now at this point, it's like, okay, let's start changing some of this. Let's be like, is this still what I want in my life? No. Then what do I want? Understand that. Feel into it. Feel into it with these cards. Give yourself some space to feel into it fully, and then have a look and see what resonates. But that's exactly what I see. Please take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So you've chosen the apple cider vinegar. Really interesting. Before I started streaming, I couldn't find it, and then I went back to look for it, and it was right in front of my face. So there we go. But apple cider vinegar with Heal Thyself. The message here is live simply. So this reading already feels like it's going to be about getting back to basics in some way. Maybe clearing out again, and bringing in something new, more true to you, true to your soul, or even true to how you feel right now in this moment. The message here also is befriend the simply cure-all, and it will befriend you right back. Definitely has a lot of like health benefits and things like that, and from time to time. Okay, so let's take a look at your oracle cards. So the first card is the 7th house with partnership, balance, and one-on-one relationship. Really interesting because that's why I read that little extra bit, the befriend. I feel like that's touching on here as well. And we've got the 7th house. Oh, we've got another house. You've also got the 3rd house with communication, transport, local, community. So this could be all about your connections, close connections, and also group connections like work, community, church, or whatever you go to, right? That kind of thing. Sports, etc. Interesting. You got 2 houses, touching on 2 houses. All right, you've got Yahuriel. This is depicted in, what I'm thinking of is Moai. I can't remember the name. Easter Island? I can't remember the traditional name. We'll say Easter Island, but those are Moai statues. And Yahuriel, who's generally depicted with a whip, which he has kind of a whip here and a crown. Okay, which is interesting because I was about to say, I was looking at this and thinking, oh, this in tarot, the gecko means protection in tarot, but it's not in tarot, so I was like, I'll leave it. But now we've got green tarot with supreme protection, so I do think this is definitely protected. This particular full moon, for whatever reason, is bringing through a very, which is interesting because it's Capricorn too, which is very structured, very kind of like, this is how things should be, I think. The structure isn't really about how things should be, but it's more about the protection. You're going to be protected in this in a very specific way. So releasing some stuff won't impact the things you want to keep. Somehow that it seems relevant in your reading. So it's like, what if I release this and then I lose this? It's like, no. You release that because it doesn't align with you. That doesn't mean you lose this, whatever this is, or these things. If I release all this, will I lose myself or something like that? No, you're protected during this. So don't be afraid to release those. So again, we're getting back to simplicity and connections as well. Maybe it feels like if I break up with this person, I will lose, these opportunities, or I won't be able to find love again in my life, or something like that. Not true. Not true. Green Tarot talks about you are protected, cords are being cut, move beyond limitations, and trust. Move beyond limitations is self-imposed. Sometimes other people can impose their limitations on us and we can take them on, but we have a choice whether we take them on or not. So yeah, we can blame, but also we chose to believe that as well. Some of these might be really old, so I'm not like blaming or anything like that, but if it's not in your reality now, then it's something that you can release if you feel called to. So cords are being cut. That's a good way of detaching from old connections for sure. Okay, interesting. You also have Aries with war. Really interesting. Again, more of like, doesn't have to be necessarily war, but it could be like competition or feeling like you're challenged, like every day is starting to be a challenge. What is causing that? Is it an old belief? Is it an old limitation? know that you are protected, you are safe to be able to process and release this. Okay, very nice. And you've also got calm here. And like, I love that it's like it feels like self-care, self-love, loving yourself. And then on the flip side is chaos, or chaotic, which makes me think of the outside world, because sometimes the outside world can seem like this, and people keep saying, "Oh, this world's chaotic. This is chaotic." I'm like, I'm not going to feed into that. I don't watch all this kind of negative stuff. I'm aware of what's happening. I need to know what I need to know, so I'm not detached. But I also don't need to feed into it. I don't need to see the same thing all day, every day for the next 2 weeks. I know it's happening. I don't need to repeat it and repeat and repeat and repeat it. I don't mind knowing the information, but I don't need to live it and relive it and relive it and relive it and then buy into that kind of fear-based thing. And I think this is it. This is the kind of detaching from the fear mongering, let's say, or the chaos, the war, literally the potential wars that you might see on TV, that kind of stuff. Not saying it's about TV, but it just feels like that's it's more about consuming what you're intaking. Okay, I do want to quickly read Yahuriel because I think there's a little bit extra message here. Okay. 32. Okay, so this is talking about leadership and endeavor. And I think this is taking back your power, really, with that whip and crown. It's like, being the king or queen. Having that rule, at least over your own self, right? Being back in control of your own self or your own destiny feeling. Not really controlling that and directing it, but just feeling like you're empowering yourself. Yeah, that's how it feels. Anyway, so I'll read this. It says, I'm assisting you with your spiritual endeavor. You are a natural leader. Stay true to your integrity. I 100% agree with that. I think if we're doing anything and we're sticking to what feels right to us, even if we're wrong, but it feels right, and then down the track we learn the lesson, I feel like that's better than just caving in. Sometimes if it's like dangerous, then maybe it's time to consider other options. But if it's something where you're like, no, this does feel right to me, and you go down the track and you learn certain things and like, no, this wasn't right for me, I'm going to go back, that's fine. At least you've tried it, and at least you're not thinking, maybe I should have gone down there. What would have happened? Because now you went there. And it wasn't for you, and that's okay. Or it was for you, and you're like, thank goodness I did that. So I'm going to start with these tarot first. You have the Six of Cups, definitely touching on reflection. Are you in this war now? Are you still in this battle? Is it still true to your reality? Have a look at that. Cut those cords that don't resonate with your one-on-one or open or broader spectrum relationships or connections. Are you able to speak your truth? It's kind of like I'm asking you questions because it's all about you in this case and how you feel. That's important now. Okay, so you also have the Emperor again with that crown. I just feel like this is like putting it back on you, and not in a toxic way. It's not like stress. It's more like giving you back the willpower. That's more how it feels. And he's the king, but he's like it's like simple. It doesn't have to be anything overly complicated. It's just feeling like you've got the power back, and he's just humbly eating. Takeaway. Okay. We also have the Five of Wands again. This would have been up here, I feel, if I didn't flip these, but I put it up there because of the light. But yeah, would have aligned very much so with Aries, which is a war conflict. And then we've got the Five of Wands, which is interesting because this is the beaver, and it's not really fighting anyone other than the elements. Like there's a raging river, so it has to kind of fight to save its home, right? Or whatever it's built its den. Okay. And the Two of Cups, again, touching on connections. This feels like a relationship read, almost. So the new moon's really coming in with like, are you getting what you feel you deserve? Like, is this what you deserve? This calm, feel good kind of like love energy coming to you, radiating from you, because I feel like that's in you. But when we feel like we're in trouble or in fight a lot, we kind of can't feel this energy or exude it. And if it's one of your natural states that you don't get to explore, that's really hard. That's really challenging. And again, heal thyself. Time to get some perspective and time to see what is worth holding on to and what's not. What's worth fighting for and what's not. It's going to be very different for each person. Some stuff I feel like it's a good time to cut cords, especially with the Green Tower coming through, protecting yourself and releasing these energies that just don't resonate with you anymore. Maybe you've gone through a change or something's changed or someone else has changed. It doesn't really matter. It's just what feels right. It's got to be true feelings, because you don't have to stay in it and you don't have to feel, you shouldn't feel stuck. That's what I want to say, is you shouldn't feel stuck. You shouldn't feel trapped. You shouldn't feel in war for sure. You shouldn't feel in conflict all the time. Conflict's good for progress, right? Like competition, but when it's just constant, and especially if we're in our safe space, like a home, and we still feel like that, that's where things need to change. Simply as that. Getting back and rebuilding your structure and what's right for you. Speaking your truth, like with the Emperor. Instead of playing like games, I want to say. No more game playing. No more tit for tat. Because you deserve something better. You deserve to feel these 3 cards. Like you deserve to feel safe. You deserve to feel calm and empowered. And also loved and cared for. Okay. That went quite deep. But I'm going to leave that there. I feel like, just again, sorry, the 6 of Cups, reflection. Also being taken care of, you know, just small things. This doesn't have to be a huge read. It can be just about small things, like one aspect of you that needs watering, that needs nurturing, that needs, I was going to say fertilizer, but it doesn't sound good. Nutrients, you know, that kind of thing. But I was going with the plant. But yeah, like nutrients, care, love. It's all about love. This is love. Okay, and that's exactly what I see in your reading today. Hopefully this has helped. Maybe something to do with the new moon releasing. Maybe just passively some stuff is going to start switching up and you might start thinking, okay, how do I feel about this? What is actually, what am I just saying? Oh, it'll get better, it's fine. What's going to get better? How is it going to get better? You know, those are the kind of energies that are coming through. I feel like some kind of sassy energy is coming through, so I'm getting like, come on. But anyway, I'll leave that there. Thank you very much for letting me read for you. I really, really do enjoy this reading. I hope it really empowers you and gets back your power, because you deserve it. No one deserves to be taking your power. And also, when I say that, no one deserves to be taking it from within your own mind too. You don't need to give it to them when it's long past, long overdue. Okay, thank you for being here. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you in your next reading. Hello, part number 3. Welcome to your reading today. So let's see what the new moon has for you. Oh, sorry, not new moon. Full moon. Super full moon in Capricorn. So you've chosen the Shinrin-yoku with connect with nature. The practice of Shinrin-yoku involves looking for nothing, but if you're lucky, you might find it. So I think it's like being balanced, really. That's how I kind of take it. And it also has a message of sky above, earth below, soul within. So it really is getting back to key kind of points. It's like, yep, this is up here, I'm down here, my soul's in here. All right, let's have a look. Let's take a look. All right, so interesting. It is the super moon. It is the super full moon. So we've got the super full moon with luminosity, intimacy, and hyper awareness. Okay. You also have Taurus. I think is it Taurus season? Or I'm really bad with the astrology. But I think this is coming up, or is it being? No idea. Anyway, we've got Taurus with tactile, grounded, and stable. Okay, so this is good. This is safe. This does feel safe. It almost feels like self. About this is going to be about yourself with like obviously still a part of your family, but this is for yourself as opposed to for others. Sometimes when we think about that, we think selfishness or self-indulgent. No, this is getting good with yourself, in yourself, so that you can be, let's say, quote unquote, better for others or in a better place when dealing with others, especially family, friends, and that kind of stuff. Okay, interesting. So cool the Supermoon came out. Your Zachariel coming through. Really interesting here. I do like the peacocks as well. Peacocks to me always show of like individuality or uniqueness, especially with this white one because it's obviously like supposed to be like an albino peacock, which I've never seen. Now I'm going to probably have a look at that online soon just to see what they look like. Maybe that's it. But really interesting. I don't know this culture in the background. Kind of whatever it's giving me like Zoroastrianism or something like that, but I don't know what that is. If that's specifically this, I'm not sure. But very pretty anyway, in this golden egg being up here. So I'll have a look at the card meaning once I've finished with the oracle cards. But you've got Bridget with inner strength, move back to wholeness, recognize you have the power. Yeah, this is very, very clear with these two especially. And even the Supermoon, I think it's like, this is like being very clear and knowing exactly what's right for you. And now it's like, what do? Do you take the old and stay with the old, or do you come along with the new? Because you're not going to lose anything by moving on. You actually gain more. That's how it's feeling. By moving back to source energy, let's say, or to your inner self, whatever you want to call it, grounding. It's getting the flame back, giving the flame back to you. Oh, look at that. Zachariel's holding a flame within too, and she is too. That feels like releasing some, like burning away old energy or negative energy or something you've carried on. It's like get out, like it's get off, that kind of thing. So you can get back into like foundation. Okay, interesting. You also have the Jade Emperor with organization. I mean, it's Capricorn. There's Taurus here. It's all about organized, let's say, structure. Okay, cool. Okay. You also have acknowledgement in the light attribute and challenged. I feel like acknowledgement is really understanding, so coming to terms with, let's say, with what's true. It's like the full moon, I think, is going to illuminate some of the stuff you hold on to that you don't need, but it's also going to illuminate what people in your life that or energies that are in your life that you no longer want to associate with and try to minimize your exposure to them or even release, let's say. Not necessarily cut out, it's just minimize, I want to say. I mean, cut out if you want to, you're you make your choices. Maybe it's a good idea. After saying that, with this coming out, just her looks like she's throwing swords. Looks like she's going to jump out of the monitor. So you've got the Page of Swords. Really interesting. It could be like even these people that throw daggers at you or something like that, and you throw daggers back, right? It just doesn't work. This kind of like tit for tat does not work. It doesn't really resolve or get anywhere. You might like quote unquote win and they might get upset or cry or whatever, and then you're like, I win. Do you feel good after that? Do you actually win? What do you win? An argument? I don't know. Is it worth it? It might be time to see what needs to kind of shift internally in mindset. I think the mindset structure might be a thing. Mindset change. Because wholeness is almost like wholesome as well, feeling wholesome. Acknowledging like our light and shadow aspects as well. Because we all know they're there. When no one's perfect, not one person is. And in saying that, it's almost like everyone's soul is, because they're all in the process on the journey of growth. Okay, here we go. 8 of Swords. Just again, after saying that, it's like, what's keeping you stuck? What's keeping you feeling stuck? Because he got an F in this test, so maybe he has to repeat that class. Maybe he doesn't need to know this information. Maybe it doesn't call to him. Maybe it's not ringing true to him. Easier said than done, especially with the way the world's structured and the schools and everything like that. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or whatever. It's just sometimes that's easier said than done. But if you're not called to something, you know, ask like for guidance from your guides. Like, where should I be looking to go in the career that it really calls to me, or something like that. I have no idea. But this might be just clearing out old ideas around education even as well. And what you think is right and wrong. You also have the Hermit. Okay. Interesting Hermit. Because I don't know what kind of spider this is, but it kind of reminds me of like a tarantula, how they have like their nest in like a hole, I don't know, a cave. A lair, the spiders, maybe a lair. Also, look at that. It kind of looks like the supermoon. So like they're in there, and then they have all these like webs to connect. So if anything walks past, they can feel it, and then scuttle out. But that's what they're about. They're about connections. They're also solitary generally as well, unless they're those community or net spiders, whatever they are. But these ones seem quite solitary. And the Hermit card is generally about going within to find the right answer. So I think this moon is really about going within to see, is it worth this? Is it worth feeling like this? What is actually calling to me? Do I need to ground in nature and heal in nature? Like, I feel like putting your feet on the earth and asking these questions is really a good idea, because it neutralizes whatever's bouncing around inside. And then I think it'll almost pull in some information that you've had rolling around in your head and being like, is this true to me now? Is this important? No. Why was that rolling around for like a year in my head? Why did I worry about that? Let's not go into that. Let's see what the next thing comes through, that kind of thing. I think the earthing yourself is really important. And if you're in the northern hemisphere, you might be able to do that with it being summer. Or in winter if you really want to, in the southern hemisphere. Just might be a bit cold, I don't know. Whatever. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is so strong. Such a strong imagery too. This is judgment. It's coming to that aha moment in some cases as well. Looking back and being like, wow, look how much I got to get to here. And that's automatically helped you to change as well. But you know how much you've struggled, because the shedding of a snake isn't easy. They can't just go pop off. It's not like, they unzip it and bam, they're out there doing their snake thing. But it's more like they have to rub up against on here thorns or bark or something to like peel it off. It's like a struggle. And so it feels like, it's been a struggle to get to here. There's been not just all bad, it's been good as well. Lots of good stuff, lots of like accomplishments. So make sure you celebrate those achievements as well, because otherwise it will feel like a struggle. If you're already setting goals and goals and goals, but not celebrating each milestone to get there, then it feels like the whole thing was a struggle, when really in reality, there was like points where you should like be proud of yourself as well. I feel like being proud of yourself is really important here. Maybe this might be for like a lot of you, is like, take your time to pat yourself on the back. You came to Earth to have like a human experience, which is always kind of like an interesting one, sometimes challenging, but a deep one, because we feel that separation from source, or whatever, God, whatever you want to call it, that kind of energy. So pat yourself on the back, be grateful to yourself as well, to the opportunity to come here as well. I think that's important. I like how the little bird kind of is like almost like a meme. It's like shocked. I mean, if I was that bird, I'd be shocked. I wouldn't be that close to a snake, but especially if I was that little. But I think it's more like, you know, there's that like awe and inspiring because something has kind of evolved beyond its old self. So I think you should also celebrate that because challenged is here. You were challenged, and acknowledging some of the stuff that you no longer need to hold on to is growth in itself. Admitting that you are, you know, a hoarder, or admitting your quote unquote shortcomings is also empowering because it's like, sure, but how can I improve on this? What, or do I want to pursue this? Like if it's like hard to get the information from like a mathematical kind of, I don't know, statistics or something. But why am I doing statistics? What has that got to do with where I'm going? You know, that kind of stuff. Or can I go to where I'm going without all this extra stuff that actually isn't relevant to me? A lot of questions. That's why it's hyper-awareness. I think you're going to come to a time, maybe it's naturally if you don't do anything and it's just coming up in this next month, maybe between the full moon and the new moon as well. You'll see, I guess we'll see. But very nice. I do like that it's holding your power, claiming your power back, and even the Emperor here with his hands like this. It's like it's all coming back to your core self and what you actually want, not what's imposed upon you from others, or feeling like they're imposed upon you, or what you've bought into or consumed and start to believe. Because they shouldn't, whatever you believe, it shouldn't be limiting. It shouldn't be limiting your expansion in any way that you want it to be. For whatever reason, the song "You've Got a Golden Ticket" was coming in, so it's like that golden egg. It's like this is a gift. This season of this full moon. Anyway, it's a gift. So see yourself as a gift. See this as a gift. And start to, I guess, organize thoughts, feelings, life, however this reading resonates for you. Okay, and that's exactly what I see in your reading. So thank you very much for being here. Hopefully you've enjoyed the reading. I've enjoyed reading this. This is actually a really nice reading, like really nice cards coming through, really empowering and reminding you of who you are at the core of yourself. Also, sorry, I forgot to read Zachariah. Or did I read that? I can't remember. I don't think so. Oh, okay. This makes sense. The main message here is graceful surrender. So it's not necessarily like giving up, like surrendering like in a battle. It's more like giving into the flow, not trying to force everything or fight against things. It's about releasing. It's like intending and then releasing some of the stuff that doesn't need to be in your life. It says here, the material aspect of life is only temporary. Gently release any attachments to me. When you surrender, you open to receive that which is truly yours. This too shall pass. I like that. I like that. Okay. And that's what I see in your reading. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hello, part number 4. Welcome to your reading. Lucky last. So you've chosen the bush iris. Don't know much about this flower, but here we are. So it says, the spirit lives on. It's about accept the cycle of life, which kind of has like a really, kind of hits like an emotional note in some sense as well. It's kind of like the cycle of birth and death as well, just like not just how we see it with you know, relationships ending or changing our career, or something ends so something begins, but it also feels like the actual birth of like a child growing all the way up into an adult, and then outer, let's say, and passing on from like the body sense, not obviously the soul sense. But it says here, learn to listen to accept the wisdom of your inner voice. So, oh, it's actually an Australian native plant. You'd think I'd know, but I didn't know that. But now I do. Anyway, let's take a look at your cards. Oop, there we go. I'm going to put these ones, if I can, up here. Alright. So you have water with refreshing, mysterious, and fluid. This popped out as well today for some reason. So maybe it was an introduction to your message, but it feels like this is something hidden or not exactly illuminated to you right now. We're talking about the new moon in Capricorn, so I'm not sure, but I've only pulled one card, so I'll keep going. You also got the first house with self, body, and presence. This is like the ascended, right? This is the ascended sign. So first house, interesting. This is like who you are and what you're striving to be, something like that. That's kind of how it feels. So I guess it's questioning that. What needs to end? So the new true you, real you, deep part of you can emerge. Okay, interesting. You've got Zuriel. This is a really interesting one. It's coming up with a whole bunch of planets flying around. Almost feels like cycles as well, like cycles of the moon, cycles of the planets around the orbit of the sun, you know, all that. It's also got a very strong Libra symbol there with like balance. Okay, this may be what it's about. You've also got White Eagle with Ancestor Spirit, talking about connect to lineage. A family wound or pattern can be healed now. Yeah, this might be releasing something really old. Whether that's in this lifetime or even in past, or like, you know, something from childhood, very old, maybe inner child. Something that was buried during childhood that is part of who you are at a core, but because it was like buried, it's like now it's time to release those constraints or those restrictions, because whatever was in your reality back then is not now. So let that out. Bring balance back to like let your inner child have some fun. It's kind of how it is. So interesting, especially with this, because it just feels kind of like melancholy. And then White Eagle coming out generally feels like only comes out when there's like family lineage kind of pain or something in there within you or within others. So either like what happened to you or what you've seen happen to someone else you care and love. Okay. Yeah, okay. You've got Arpuk with fear. This is really talking about those this is a really deep one, I feel. So take what resonates if you've chosen this pile. If this is not resonating, maybe pick another pile. But this is like deep set kind of fears. Sometimes fears are good to acknowledge, because then you're like, why is this bringing up this? Why did someone say something totally unrelated, but I was quickly triggered into the subconscious. Subconscious was like lashing out. Where does this come from? What is this about? Because I think this is where we kind of head to in this reading. Okay, and you also have got nurture, and on the shadow side, discourage. So I think this is self-care a little bit. It's like release for sure. I want to read Zuriel. Obviously touching on fears. I do like the refreshing, because it's also saying like this is something that impacted you at a like very true level, at a very human level. So when it's our identity, that radiates to how we think of ourselves or others in relationships, connections, work, etc. How we look after ourselves, how we treat ourselves as well. So deep. So this talks about diplomacy and fair play. It says here, call on me to bring harmony, diplomacy and fair play to all your interactions. I will restore equilibrium. So it's about bringing balance, I guess. Kind of reminds me of, I don't think Archangel Regale is in this deck, but this one's kind of reminding me, Zuriel, even though I'm not too sure of this angel exactly, but kind of reminding me of Regale, because he's all about relationship, harmony, especially like a breath of fresh air, like almost like space to breathe. Whenever I've kind of connected with his energy, it's like giving me a space to breathe, a place to breathe in, some fresh air, like a moment of, just a moment for myself. And then I can understand where this is coming from, why these are popping up in this reading today. Feeling nurtured, fear around other people, like other genders, other races, like father figures, mother figures. There's so much to dig into with this, but I'll leave it there because this is popping up. It's like, yep, it's water. It's emotions. It's water. Keep going. All right. So you've got the Hermit. I like this Hermit because I feel like it's giving yourself giving yourself a break almost, giving yourself some free time, some space. Because I think sometimes we get caught up and it's like, oh, I hermited enough because I've been not, stuck at like being in my house for long enough. Or I always hermit, so I'm fine. But are we actually thinking about the things that are keeping us stuck? Are we thinking about things that are causing us triggers or fears or worries? Because that's where we can kind of grow from. Like you can be at home 24/7 with all the time in the world, right? But you might be thinking of these, but not in a way to move through them. They might be just rolling around in your mind and keeping you in a fear or stuck kind of feeling. All right, you got the Knight of Cups. I feel like this is sweet. It's kind of bringing back the fun. This is really where it's at. It's like the inner child coming back, bringing back that care, and I think it's bringing back your heart into the spotlight, because you have a heart, obviously. You have passions and love. So I think this is bringing it back in a carefree kind of way. It doesn't have to be like shadow work-ish. It's just, it's getting back your passions or like feelings into a new space. Ending of a cycle so you can begin anew. You can reinvent yourself. Like it's kind of like reinventing, and I almost cringe saying that, but it's almost like reinventing yourself, let's say, which pretty much just means breaking away the old so the new can come through, and that's shedding an old skin. But it's still you, it's just more evolved you. Okay, so we've got the Five of Swords. Yeah, feeling like out of the fear feels like needing to fight to win or something like that, when really you lose or someone else loses. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't feel like it has to be like that. But that feeling is true to you, right? It's fear, the Five of Swords. And depicted here, it's like humans are winning because they get to build more apartment buildings and have more space for other people to live. But in turn, it's taking away land from wild animals, and eventually they'll just have nowhere to live and just go either somewhere else or die out. And you also have the Four of Cups. I told you this was a deep one. So if you're still here, one, well done. But also this is a lot of emotions here. There's a lot of feelings. And it feels true. It doesn't feel like you're just focusing on the negative. It's like there are true feelings here. But what can you do to move through this? I think the full moon at a minimum is going to help expose some of these, show you some of these which you already knew, but now maybe give you some ideas of how to release this. Or if you just want to write down like some of the stuff, that you no longer believe but you were told, or the attachments to a person, place, etc. that no longer is in your environment right now. Write that down, burn it, and during the full moon or after, burn it when you want to, because this is your life. You don't have to go by moon cycles or anything like that. You can do it whenever you want to. And I think that'll bring internal balance into your, like, literally inside your internal solar system world, inside your internal universe. Because that's how you can change the external universe, like your external environment. Probably not the whole entire universe, but you know what I mean, like your external world. I want to say be kind to yourself. Reach out to people that can support you as well. Give yourself time. There's no rush. This pangolin here is almost feeling like the hanged man. Sorry, excuse me. The hanged man. If my throat's going, I think speaking this out loud is part of your truth. And sometimes saying it out loud is like, oh wow, that's how I really feel. Sometimes like you have to write it down. Like, or even like automatic writing, maybe just try that, or just speak it, or just write it, what's on your mind. Because that just dumps it out, and then you can look at it and be like, is this true? Is this in my reality right now? But at least it's your truth because you've said it. But then you can analyze it and be like, is this actually true in my present state, my present moment, in my, this moment right now? Because no matter what, I want to say back here, the spirit lives on. You will continue like being the essence of you, and everything you've learnt in this life will keep continuing. The body might go, but not the consciousness, let's say. I think that's all for today. Yeah, I'm going to leave that there. So there's a bit here to kind of ruminate with, and I think it's personal to you. Touches you at like, the first house, the beginning of you. And there might be other ways. So this might be a catalyst to the next steps. It's not going to be something that the full moon just solves, right? But it might be like a beginning. Like, okay, I plan to begin this journey of healing myself, this kind of feeling, lineage, whatever. Whether it's big or small, doesn't matter. It's for you, and it might be a process. You might start it now and then leave it and pick it up in a week's time, month's time, whatever. It's got to be worked in a way that's comfortable to you, not for anyone else's benefit but your own. Okay, and I'm going to leave that there. So hopefully this has resonated. Really interesting reading. Lots of kind of bits and pieces that have have been challenging, or that come up with interesting information. So this feels deep, especially with water, emotional. So I hope it's really helped you, and let yourself be free. Break those limitations, set limitations that you feel are upon you, because I definitely do feel like a lot of this is to help you feel more balanced, more true to yourself, true to your soul. But anyway, that's what I see in your reading today. Thank you for being here. Please take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.